Duncan Jones has broken it.
I know. He was like this. He was like a little kid all the way through. All the way through. Now, listen, we've been reading about you over the weekend.
Yes.
And your decision to have a facelift.
I know.
For those who may have missed it in the papers, talk us through what's brought you to this decision, Linda.
Well, it's something that I've thought about long and hard, obviously. It's not just I've done it all of a sudden.
Course.
And it's, I think, you know, the past decade for me has been full of tragedy and heartache and, you know, depression. My depression took me down to suicide, you know, tendency, all of that. And all of a sudden, I think last year, I felt like I'd turned a corner, you know, and my family, obviously, and my close friends all noticed it as well. And
you can see in your eyes, actually, Linda.
You seem in a happier place.
You do.
Yeah.
Why is that, then?
I think because I've, you know, I have had great help off the NHS. I heard you talking about that earlier. I've had great help off the NHS with my depression, with the mental health team and all of that. And I just think now that I'm ready to accept that, you know, I've had the love of my life. You know, people don't get that normally. Yeah. I had it for 27 years, you know, 24/7, and I think it's taken this long for me to realise that it's okay to be happy again. You know, it's okay to smile.
10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's okay to smile.
Did you feel guilty about?
I used to feel guilty for smiling, you know. Yeah. I have Brian's ashes at home in the bedroom, and I go upstairs and shout at him, and then
I used to carry them around.
I do. I shout at him, and then I go back up to go, I'm sorry.
Did you used to carry them with you?
I have a little token urn, they're called. Bernie christened it Little Urn, and and I take that with me whenever I'm travelling and all of that.
So
just
what in your handbag?
Yeah, just something so he's always with me. You know, just a little piece of him.
I mean, like you said, Brian was the love of your life, and you got so low that you actually wrote a suicide note, didn't you, to your sisters?
You know, well, you know, and you think everybody will understand because, of course, they don't, you know. And, yeah, I wrote them a letter saying, you know, I don't think you all expected me to last this long anyway, and I'm happier, I want to be with Brian, so please forgive me, and all of that, you know.
And how do you feel now that you are in a good place? When you look back on that desperately unhappy woman, what would you say to that woman now?
I would say to that woman and to anybody at home who's going through that kind of thing is get help. The help is out there. And I realise now that I've got so much to live for. I have fabulous, great nieces and nephews who I would never have known had I have taken my life that time. And life is worth living, you know.
Oh, it's so wonderful to hear.
So you were always the Nolan I wanted to be, by the way.
She was always my favourite loose woman.
I'm intrigued. What do you see now when you look in the mirror?
I kind of look in the mirror and I see... I mean, you know, thankfully you have makeup here, and Linda, the makeup lady's doing a marvellous job. But, you know, when I take my makeup off, I kind of look in the mirror and I can see a sad person. You know, I know that the ageing process happens to us all, and I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not, you know, that's not a pretty photo. But you see what I mean? Would you blame me? And the one thing that I really, really don't like is I smoked for 20-odd years, you know, and I like to call them the kissing lines, but apparently they're called the smoking lines round here that really affect me, and, you know, and my neck a little bit.
So do you feel almost that you look in the mirror and almost all these things that you've been through is there on your face?
Yeah, and I don't see the reflection of the person that I am inside today, you know. Right. And I just thought, you know, and people have been lovely from the article yesterday, you know. Yeah. You don't need to do that and all of that. And my family have been amazing support, but they're scared because it's surgery. It's going to be 4 hours and I'm awake.
Wow. And we're going to be filming it as well for Loose Women.
Exclusively,
we're going to be live. I really do.
Well, you know, listen, if they hurt me, they're going to know about it, trust me. Yeah.
What do you think Brian would say?
I think Brian and Bernie up there would be going, good on you. And I think, you know, Brian and I both had a life-threatening illness. We both had cancer. And we spoke about death, and if one of us wasn't there, and we always said to each other, you know, move on, live your life, you're young. And, you know, I was 47 when Brian passed away. And now I can do that, and I know that he'll be up there smiling.
And what about Coleen?
Oh, she's going to kill me.
We get some pretty fabulous guests here on Loose Women. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click here. to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.